Hello, and welcome to
Kilimanjaro.
My name is Jim Gurman, and today we're going to be talking about the SN883RH2 Max Superframer framing nailer. This is a nailer that takes 21-degree nails, either the plastic or paper collated nails. It'll take regular nails, galvanized, smooth shank, ring shank, or the screw type. It retails for $220. When you pay your $220, you get a rather Spartan box, an owner's manual, which is actually reasonably well written. It comes in English, Spanish, and French. It's got some good illustrations. You don't get a quick disconnect. You have to supply your own one of those. You don't get a case or anything else like that. The nailer itself has some very interesting features. Let's start at the top here. It's got a shield here so that when you fire, the air blast doesn't blow in your face. It's not adjustable, but it does kind of blow forward in this direction, which is pretty much what you would want. It might be a little useful to clean out some sawdust around where you're working, but generally it just doesn't get in the way and doesn't blow you in the face. It's very easy to load nails in the nailer. You just hold it here, the nails just slip in the back, just like that. You slide them forward, then you just pull this spring clip all the way back, and that's it. Very easy to do. You can actually take them out too. It's a little bit trickier. There's a little release here that'll pull up this clip here, and that allows you to pull them back. It'll hold 2 strips of nails at once, so it's a bit of a time saver that you don't have to refill it as frequently. It has a magnet underneath here that will hold the last nail in place, so the last nail doesn't fall down and it doesn't waste that nail, and also doesn't jam it. It's got a standard trigger guard here. It's got some nice sharp teeth on here so that you can toenail something with ease. It's got a safety right here. When you switch this back, it locks out the trigger so you can't fire any nails. The biggest feature of the nailer, however, is its construction. It's made of lightweight alloys, so it's only about 7 pounds. It's easy to use all day. It's also very short. The distance from here to here is only about a foot. If you're framing 16 inches on center, that means it's really easy to get in there and maneuver, get the nails where you need them to go without hitting the adjacent stud. You'll notice I have my safety glasses on. Always a good idea whenever using any air tools, especially an air nailer. The little plastic pieces that are on these nails can go flying in any direction. You shouldn't have to worry about any dirt coming into the nailer through the air line. It's got a filter in here, which the nice thing about it is when you unhook it actually blows back through the filter to blow out any dust that would have been captured in it. So that way the filter has no maintenance required on it. So let's fire some nails now. I've got it in the single fire mode, so every time I pull the trigger it's going to fire a nail if the safety is pushed back. These are 3-inch nails that are in here, smooth shank. You'll see it doesn't have a whole lot of recoil when I fire. That makes it really nice and easy to use. It's a lot less tiring and it doesn't jump out. You'll also notice that it flushed the nails just about perfectly. I've got this set. There's a little dial right here that lets you set it. There's a little gauge right here that shows you how set it is. I've got it set for about 100 psi to pretty much perfectly flush that. And it's very consistent in doing that. The framing nailer ships in single actuation mode, which means that every time you pull the trigger, it fires a nail. If you want to switch to contact actuation mode, which means that every time you push down on the gun, it fires a nail, it's a bit of a fiddly process. There's this pin here marked with an arrow. You have to push that out with a little screwdriver. I'm just using a little Phillips head screwdriver. Then you have to pull it out with a pair of pliers. And then there's this little bracket down here that you have to pull out. It's marked with a D for anti-double fire, which is Max's way of saying that it won't fire 2 nails when you push it down. So you have to wiggle that out. And then you can pull this trigger down all the way and it'll fire every time you push down on it. After I switch to contact fire mode, I'm left with these 2 little pieces here, which I don't really know what to do with. They're tiny. There's a good chance that even when you're changing it, it's going to drop on the floor and disappear. So I think that's one of the only downsides to this nailer is these 2 little parts. I wish they had come up with a different system to either stay on the nailer or to have a little case or something that they would stay in. However, most people are going to switch one way and just leave it there and never come back to another way. So it's not that big a deal, and replacement pieces are available. So in contact fire mode, all you have to do is push down and it'll fire. No problem, it goes about as fast as you'd like. I've put a couple thousand nails through this nailer. I've never actually had it jam. However, if you were to have it jam, there's 2 little gaps in the guard here. You can easily get a screwdriver in there and flip it around to get the stuck nail out. To switch nails, you pull back on this, push down on this little lever here, and then slide these back. And that goes forward. Then back here, there's another catch, and you just pull that out. So I will say that while I haven't ever had a jam, I did have one time when I was switching nails, the last nail on here, the plastic holding it in place had kind of broken off, and the nail head was held by the magnet here, but the nail came off and flipped back into this channel here. It was actually kind of irritating to get out, but it didn't hurt the nailer. It wasn't really that big a deal, and I've only ever had that happen once. In conclusion, this is a really well thought out and well made nailer. It's very easy to use. There's no blast of air hitting you in the face every time you fire a nail. There's very little recoil. It's light and small, but it has plenty of power. I've never had it not be able to sink a nail all the way in. The nails are really easy to load. It's quick, it's simple. You can do it with a pair of gloves on. I think my only two complaints about it are these two little pieces that you need to store somewhere if you switch to contact firing mode. And the other thing is that it doesn't have dry fire protection, so when you run out of nails, it just keeps firing. All in all, this is a really great tool, and I highly recommend it. Thanks for watching.